ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in the last verses we were saying that after Mother Sati immolated herself in the fire, as soon as the attendants who were present there, who had come along with Mother Sati, the attendants of Lord Shiva, whose work was to give protection to Mother Sati. That was the reason they were sent. So, when all of them, they saw that they were not able to give protection to Mother Sati because she herself immolated herself by that fire which came out from her mystic power. So then they thought that okay, we were not able to give protection, but at least we should be able to punish the culprit, who is the cause of death of Sati. So they immediately stood up, took up their weapons and rushed forward to attack Daksha. That was their plan. On the other hand, so we find Bhrigu Muni, who is on the side of Daksha, he is also present in that sacrifice which is going on. Bhrigu Muni is called here as Bhagavan according to Vedic literature. A person possessing immense powers can also be called as Bhagavan. Bhaga means opulences, Van means one who possesses. Of course, the Supreme Lord, Supreme Bhagavan is Krishna. But sometimes a powerful personality like Lord Shiva, powerful personality like Bhrigu, or even a devotee like Narada, who all possess to different degrees the powers of the Supreme Lord, may also be addressed as Bhagavan. So he immediately responded to that attack. How did he respond? Because he had immense mystic powers. He immediately chanted certain hymns, mantras from Yajurveda. So in the Vedic literatures, there are different mantras which are meant to bring about different results. There are certain mantras which can be chanted, but those mantras have to be chanted properly. There are many rules and regulations of chanting those mantras. Just like here you see, there are 4 sides while performing a yajna. There is east side, there is west side, there is north side, and there is south side. So there are rules that he had to put the oblations in the south side, not in the north side. Let us say, if he had chanted those mantras, but if he had put the oblations while saying that Swaha, in the north side, the result would have been different. So they have to be put in the southern side. And the mantras which have to be chanted, there are lots of niyama involved in chanting the mantras. Like it is said, there are different kinds of shuddhis which are required to chant a mantra. Just like if you see in Bhagavatam, we see the example of even Ashwathama. He performed Achmana, and after performing Achmana, he chanted certain mantras by which he was able to produce Brahmastra. You see? So similarly, we can find here that Prabhupada is explaining, in Kali Yuga, such qualified, expert Brahmanas who can chant properly those mantras according to required rules and regulations. Just like there are different rules like Varna Shuddhi, Swara Shuddhi, Bhuta Shuddhi. If you read even Narada Pancharatra, you will find that all these things are mentioned. Just like when we do, Om Astray Phat, different kinds of pujaris who are doing, they know that. Bhuta Shuddhi, different articles are purified with different mudras and other things, isn't it? So we find there are lots of rules and regulations. This is a different level of science altogether. There is a gross science, there is a science of mind. Actions can be produced directly from the mind. People have no idea. Let us say, if I want to kill someone, I'll have to take a knife, I'll have to take some gross matter and do. Isn't it? People have no idea that one can produce weapons even from the mind. You don't have to mix, you don't have to take some physical elements. Isn't it? So, there is a science of the mind, and then there is a spiritual science which is higher than all of them. Gross science, and then science on the level of, like we are seeing the example here. Just like we find the example, such kind of advanced science is not available today. Kardam Muni, with his mystic power, he was able to make the whole city-like airplane. When we read through that, we saw that no fuel is required. It doesn't require somebody to man it, to go from one direction to another. And it was all wish fulfilling. Everything was available. Practically like a whole city was there. in that airplane which Kardama Muni had created. So that kind of science is not known today. We are only dealing with gross matter. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are Sthula, Shukshma, and the spirit soul, which has nothing to do with matter. Gross matter we can see, we can manipulate gross matter, that is modern science. And these great personality, this is also not spiritual. Do not think that Durvasa Muni, he was able to produce, with his mystic power, he was able to produce a demon who would approach, Amrish Maharaj to kill him. That is what. He could do that. And here we are fine. Bhrigu Muni, just by chanting mantras and offering oblations in the fire, in that sacrifice, we will find thousands of Rubhus, the Devas, who had immense power which they had achieved from Soma. They all came out. And what they will do? They have a particular task. They will destroy the destroyer of the yajna. That is what they are supposed to do. See how much precise science is there. Brahmastra will not attack anyone, just like that. Brahmastra will aim at a person to whom it is targeted. We don't find such thing in the gross science. Just like we all remember that even till today, how much the people in Japan are suffering because of that nuclear bombing which was done. Even till today people suffer there because of lots of that radiations which are still emanating. People become diseased because of that. So how many innocent people were killed? So this subtle science people have no idea. So if subtle science is so much having potency, you can imagine the potency of spiritual science. That is what we should understand. Like the example given here is, even subtle science requires lot of rules and regulations. Mantra has to be chanted with proper meter, with different kinds of shuddhis and other things. You see, there has to be varna shuddhi, like the words, swara shuddhi, words, varna, bhuta shuddhi. The person who is chanting, he should also be purified. So many rules and regulations are required. Proper meter it has to be chanted. Not that simply you just like we read some sentences, we read and it will have effect. No. Isn't it? But spiritual science is so great by the mercy of the Lord that all these material rules and regulations, they have no effect on spiritual objects. None of these material rules and regulations or even any material circumstances can inhibit spiritual progress. That is not there. Otherwise, any of these things are missing, you will not get the result. But spiritual life is not like that. Spiritual life, it depends on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Even if we are pure, we are impure, we are filled with desire, we have material desire, we have desire for liberation, but the potency of devotional service is so great that if we somehow or other and take it, we will become purified. We will attain that material result also and will become purified and will get spiritual result also. That is the potency. That is why Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that whether you have all kinds of material desires, sarva kama or moksha kama, then it says, yajeta purusham param, simply worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. because we will become purified completely. And which is not true even for other processes. Other processes like jnana, karma or yoga, it will not fully cleanse us of material contaminations. It is not possible. They do not have that potency. That potency is there in devotional process. So, Prabhupada is speaking about that actually by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that processes which required lots of rules and regulations in other yugas, in Kali Yuga, very mercifully, understanding the situation of people in Kali Yuga, understanding that people in Kali Yuga will be having so many different faults. So even for the spiritual different kinds of processes, the Lord has simplified that the same result what you would achieve by meditating for many numbers of years, one can simply achieve in a short lifespan of just 40-50 years. Kali Yuga, it is not even 100 years. It is supposed to be 100 years, but we understand as Kali Yuga will progress, more and more these things will deteriorate. All these things will reduce. Memory will reduce. Now you can see with AI, isn't it? They will become more powerful, our memories will reduce. For everything we will have to depend on different kinds of technology. Our IU will reduce, age will reduce, bodily strength will reduce, our good character will reduce, our power of controlling the senses will reduce, everything practically you will find will reduce. So seeing this situation of Kali Yuga, the Lord very mercifully has given the process of chanting the holy name. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted this very often. Harer Naam, Harer Naam, Harer Naam eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva, nasti eva, nasti eva gatiranyada. No other way. And Prabhupada explains, not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. 3 times means these other processes, even they were also spiritual processes. But even they will not be effective in Kali Yuga. It is not possible. So what to talk about this kind of sacrifices which we are seeing here, isn't it? Do we find anybody is having that much power that he chant a mantra? You can see the power here. He's chanting a mantra, offering oblations. This looks like, some mythical. How it is possible we will be thinking, isn't it? Just chant one mantra and put some oblations in the and then you find some, devatas are being produced. It's a question of understanding the science. It is nothing, to be surprised about. Just like imagine, from today, 100 years back, could one imagine even with gross science, could one imagine that one can contact a person in America, you can hear his voice? No one can imagine. At that time, people will be thinking these are all mythical. What are you saying? You are here 1,000 miles away from a person. You cannot hear a person 1 kilometer away and you are saying I can hear a person 1,000 miles away? Isn't it? One may think. So, Prabhupada sometimes had to give these examples to make us understand. Just like Prabhupada gives an example, that he says, Prabhupada gives the example, radio waves. Prabhupada gives the example of radio waves. You can sit in one country and you can hear radio from another country. The sound is vibrated in another country. You see. Just like even in the phone, now it is more advanced. even in the phone. So earlier, we know the sound, it is being vibrated somewhere else and the waves are traveling and you are able to capture it here, provided you have a proper instrument. So Prabhupada gave this example to make us understand this spiritual sound is not from this material world. It is emanating from the spiritual world. Golokera premadhana Hari Nama Sankirtana. This Harinam, do not think it is some material sound emanating from us. This sound is emanating from Goloka Vrindavan. If you have a proper instrument with you, we can capture that sound. What is the proper instrument? The proper instrument is if we utilize our tongue to chant, vibrate this mantra, and hear attentively without offenses, then gradually we will move from aparadha to cleansing and then finally to shuddhana. Namabhas. So first stage is Nam Aparad. We're all chanting with lot of offenses. Gradually by chanting, what is required? We don't require a special meter or something. Only very simple thing. Distinctly chant. Simple thing. Distinctly chant. The Lord has given us tongue. We should distinctly chant and attentively hear. Only these two requirements are there. And the mind should not be roaming around here and there. Mind should be focused on hearing that sound. Because hearing without mind is not possible. If your mind is somewhere else, I may be speaking so many things, you will not be able to hear. Then you will tell, no, what did you tell? I will say, I have already spoken what I had to say. No, my mind was somewhere else. You will find, right? If your mind is somewhere else, you are not able to hear. So hearing is possible. Attentive hearing means your mind also should be present. That is the idea. So if that is done, that is good enough for us to progress in spiritual life. That is the understanding. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. Another important thing which we can see here, which we were seeing in the last translation also, Prabhupada was saying that it was the duty of the attendants to see that they were able to protect, and it was also their duty that if they were not able to protect, to kill Daksha, who was the cause of Sati's being immolated like this. That the whole situation has come up because of Daksha. And so the action they were taking is quite appropriate for them. It is important. So actually, generally speaking, we react to the situations. Generally speaking. There is a lot of difference between reacting and acting with proper consideration. It's a lot of difference. In Sattva Guna, a person, even if something occurs, let us say somebody shouts at you, what will be your immediate action? Generally, impulse is shout back at him. What are you doing? Immediately we will shout back at that person. What do you think? He becomes angry, we become double angry. Isn't it? Normally this is one. So, this is called impulsive action. Without thinking. It is not in mode of goodness. It is more in passion and ignorance. In passion, a person may use verbal kind of impulses. And when he is in ignorance, he will beat you up also. That possibility is also there. Left and right somebody can beat you. So, we have to be not reactive. We have to think, understand the situation, and then try to resolve that Just like we find so many great examples in Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed. He was such a sober personality. Even though he was cursed, he did not react. It is very clearly stated. Bhagavatam says he had enough power to recurse that boy, but he did not. He thought over that, he pondered on that situation with Vedic understanding. And what was his understanding? See, his understanding was that actually everything is decided by the Lord. If I am thinking this boy is the cause of cursing me, then actually I am not acting in knowledge. He is just an instrument in the hand of the Lord. Instrument is not the cause of me being, getting delivered. It is the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. And then he thought over that such a wonderful arrangement the Lord has made. That actually the Lord, seeing me, that I have become too attached to my kingdom, and it is very difficult to get out of this attachment. Very mercifully, now the Lord has shown me that what will you do with this attachment? You have only few more days left. So now, at least I can think about this and become detached. You see, so he took it as a mercy of the Supreme Lord. So this is with proper understanding a situation. How much difference you find, right? Similarly, we find Amrish Maharaj, such a great devotee, much more powerful than Durvasa Muni. Much more powerful than Durvasa Muni. He could have produced probably more hundreds of such demons. He never utilized his power for that. See, this is the difference also. When a person becomes powerful and he is not in the mode of goodness, and is not a devotee, they will generally misuse those power for their sense enjoyment. So, Amrish Maharaj did not. He did not even retaliate. He just accepted the situation. Supreme Lord has. But the Lord, he did not tolerate. Immediately he produced, immediately Sudarshan Chakra came and killed that demon. And then, in order to save his life, Durvasa Muni had to run here and there, and even Lord Vishnu personally was not able to save him. He went to even Lord Vishnu. He said, even I cannot save you. If somehow or other Amrish Maharaj pardons you, there is a possibility. Otherwise, there is no possibility. So we find so many such examples in Bhagavatam, wherein action should be performed after proper contemplation, and contemplation with proper understanding from the Shastras. That will lead to a proper understanding. Just like, say for example, somebody shouts at you, and probably for whatever reason you did not shout. But still, if you do not apply the Shastric understanding, it will harm you. You will be burning like anything. Somehow, circumstances did not permit, for whatever reason, you did not retaliate. But that retaliation is coming inside your mind and you are eating yourself. You are getting so much disturbed. You are getting burnt inside. Maybe outside you have not retaliated for whatever reason. Because still you have not applied Vedic understanding properly. If we apply Vedic understanding, so many proper understanding is there. Isn't it? That let us say he shouted at you or whatever. First of all, a person understands. I am not this material body. What is there so big deal about he shouted at me? Isn't it? With all those kind of Shastric understanding, very easily, at least, may not be at that moment, but after some time he can get out of that misunderstanding. Isn't it? Just like even Yudhishthir Maharaj showed this. He was so disturbed, so much disturbed after the battlefield. When he went over, he saw bodies lying here and there. And he's thinking, I am responsible for this. This is also greatness of a devotee. Krishna wanted to teach this, even this as a lesson, just like even when Arjuna, he's thinking, even in a compassionate way, ignorant way. But Prabhupada is pointing out one good quality. Devotee thinks consequences. Did Duryodhan think about consequences even once? He did not think. How much Arjuna is thinking, whether I should do or not. Maybe in ignorance, but this good quality is there. He was thinking whether I should do or I should not. Similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was very disturbed. So much so, practically his mind was completely in depression. No one could take him out of the depression. Even Lord Krishna personally could not, because that was his arrangement. He wanted him to hear from Bhishma. And then he guided him to Bhishma Pitama. And when he went to Bhishma Pitama and he heard, you must have all read that prayers of Bhishma Pitama, isn't it? So when he heard from Bhishma Pitama, immediately he was out of his misunderstanding. So maybe he took time to come out of his misunderstanding. This is what Krishna is showing. That he applied, he heard from Vaishnavas, higher Vaishnavas, and then he was able to come out. But otherwise, if we simply contemplate with our own small understanding, with our own mind, I don't think we'll be able to come out of all these kinds of things. So, it was definitely appropriate for these people who were attendants of Lord Shiva to retaliate at that time, because that is what it is according to the scriptures. It was required. Otherwise, as the scriptures say, they have to, if they were not able to give protection, they have to kill the person who is an offender, and in that, even to give up their own life. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Guru Srila Prabhupada ki.